Well, hello there. This is the lovable, huggable, kissable, touchable, slightly maniacal, any other able that you could possibly think of. Just kind of throw it in there and then insert the classic Big Bear StarCraft 2 voice, and you will have Big Bear StarCraft 2 bringing you guys a second ZVT. I am actually bringing... You always win against Cloud. I have no chance. Ironically enough, I literally just casted Stephano versus Cloud, so when inhu says that, you can just tell that he does have mad respect for Cloud, and rightfully so. I mean, Cloud is a very fierce competitor. It's just Stephano is apparently the fiercer competitor, and you can see Stephano saying depend on how you play, and he's saying strategy-wise. But we shall see. I mean, that is a little bit cocky. I mean, but I like it. I love to see cocky players, because cocky players really just kind of shows a confidence in yourself, and so you know, the more confident you are, obviously the better you will play. So I really like to see cockiness out of players, and I think inhu here is going to be going for some sort of cheese. I'm just going to call it right now. We shall see. He actually is getting a barracks on 12, so I'm guessing there's going to be a second barracks on 13, and here you can see he's actually sending out a second SCV. He's going to scout for that Overlord. That's very smart by inhu, and all that does is he's going to try to find this Overlord here that would be flying into his base if it was on this side, and the reason why you do that is because the Overlord can actually scout your command center before your command center can see it. So what these Zerg players will sometimes do is they will scout until they see the command center, and they will immediately pull their Overlord back. But in order to do that, you actually do have to have at least your Overlord come into the base a little bit, and that will allow the SCV to see it. And since he did not see that, he can kind of just guess that the Zerg player is on this side. And that's just like cute little things you can do as a professional player. And I think that scout you send out is around the 2-minute mark, and you'll generally see it, but lower level Zergs will generally just kind of let their Overlord float right into your base regardless. So it does not really matter too much, but there are the occasional low level silver and gold players who will actually be good enough to pull that Overlord around. So if you do not see that Overlord, just kind of scout it. Might as well. Why not? It takes like 4 seconds, and it allows you to see exactly which base he is at. inhu actually opting for the 1 Rax into FE, I'm thinking. I'm not exactly sure. He's pulling a second. Okay, so no, he's going to be getting a second Rax, but the second Rax is kind of late, so he's not going to really be expecting any sort of early pressure as Stephano, and as such, knowing that they spawned in the farthest possible spawning locations, he does go for hatchery first, so he's going to be going for a more macro style play as opposed to the very high and aggressive play that he does normally go for. And I really like Stephano's play style just simply because he is a very hard and aggressive player, always trying to jam his Zerglings down the opponent's throat. And the only thing about Zerglings that I would have to say are the acute disadvantage to the other 2 units that are tier 1, such as the Marines or the Stalkers or the Zealots, is that they are melee units, and they kind of don't really provide that much early game pressure because they don't do very much against buildings. For example, you can see the supply depot does have 400 HP, and Zerglings only do, I think, 5 damage, so it takes forever to kill this. And while I am blabbering away, inhu is actually going for a reactor Hellion composition, and he's going to be building 2 Hellions out of this. He's going to be building 2 Hellions out of this, and there's the Hellion slightly delayed. You can see that those little tiny timings are things that prevent very, very, very good players from being professional players and being paid to play like Stephano is in fact doing. I think he has won a couple of tournaments, but really the only way to get paid as a player like Stephano or inhu is to actually in fact just kind of be really, really good at the game and win tournaments. You can see that inhu actually supply blocking himself. I do not know if this is part of the build or not, but I do not think so, considering he does have SCVs queued up and a supply depot almost finished. So it's just little tiny timings again like that kind of prevent any sort of, like, you know, professional play. And for now he's going to be sticking to the lower levels of very high competitive play, but I have actually never heard of him, so maybe he is just a little bit off of his game and he is normally an amazing player. I do not in fact know, but I mean, I say amazing player, and when I'm saying these little tiny critiques, you can be an amazing player and still supply block yourself for a couple of seconds. And pulling a lot of drones off the line, I don't really agree with this. If he can get 1 roast, if he had gotten 1 roast, he would have actually killed all of those Zerglings. Stephano, I would say, is a little bit lucky there, before only losing a single worker. You know, he actually got really lucky, if you ask me. If he'd pulled all of those drones there, they all funneled right here like this, and they stack up on each other. If the Hellions had blasted away, he would have lost all of those drones, and that would have been a GG. But you can see coming in with more Hellions to put the pressure on, and this is really smart because you can see no workers are being built by Stephano right now. He's just going to kind of circle around this little tiny Magnus statue, but he actually should have just kind of ran out there, because now he's going to lose both of these Hellions, I think. Yep, there it is. Both the Hellions are gone, and now Stephano feels content with building 7 drones. inhu really does not want to actually let up the pressure, so he's going to be building more and more Hellions, actually leaving them at the... Oh, I had to swallow. He's leaving them at the factory. I'm trying to figure out maybe if I should just like not swallow at all and then just kind of power through it or something. I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe just take small swallows every now and again. He actually did just finish the combat shields upgrade for the Marines, so inhu is going to be having a pretty high tech I wouldn't say advantage, but he's going to be having a high tech play in the sense that there's not going to be a lot of pressure now by high tech units, so really it's only going to be this Hellion harass, so Stephano can in fact hold this off. He will pretty much be good, but everything else is going to be favoring more high tech. You can see siege tanks coming out, more barracks, a starport probably for medevacs. He's going to start the medevac drop, but for now Stephano is really kind of walled off. This evolution chamber here and the spine crawler are really going to prevent any sort of Hellion run by. In worst case scenario, he could have a queen here. I would really recommend to have one of his queens here just to inject, and you know, you can still inject here, but it'll completely wall this off, and maybe have another queen here, because these Hellions, all they can really do is just shoot at the hatchery, and I mean, what are they going to do to this hatchery? This thing is a solid wall with a little mouth here, and if you piss it off too much, I think it will spit out the broodlords when it dies, and those will probably kill the Hellions anyways. You can see that he is going to be actually just kind of switching into double medevac drops. There are both medevacs and switching into siege tanks. So inhu kind of using all of his buildings to their maximum potential and picking off the creep tumors very smartly back in Stephano's base. However, we do not see him mining this gas for fear of those Hellions, and that might actually be affecting his play a little bit, because once again he is going for that Baneling, Zergling, Mutalisk composition, and I think he's going to just try to suicide a lot of Hellions in here pretty soon just to get all of these drone kills that he possibly can. And now Stephano finally feels safe, and just as a little side note, look at Stephano's energy on his queens. We are at 10 minutes into the game, and his energy is so low. This is an extremely hard thing to do, to constantly stay up on your inject. And watch this. This is going to be even cooler, because I think if I call it right, Stephano's going to run around here and then run Banelings in. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, and the Banelings do a surprising amount of damage to Hellions because they are light units, and with 2 Banelings, he really just kind of killed a lot of units. If we go to the units lost tab, it is heavily outweighed into the Zerg's favor, in the sense that he has just killed all of those Hellions, and those Hellions really, when you go for a fast Hellion play, they need to do damage because you really cannot afford any sort of other unit. So now Stephano's going to be content with taking the Zelnog Watchtower, slowly taking the control, and now he's pushing out, and inhu actually does not have his siege tank sieged up. If I was him, I'd really be sieging that siege tank up. That's kind of a scary thing to have an unsieged siege tank. I think Stephano could have won that battle. It would have been close, but I think he would have won. Actually, I don't know. I mean, with Stim, that would have been really close, but I still hold by that he would have won. He has a lot of Zerglings, and Zerglings in Swarm are extremely good and actually pretty cost effective. Now he's going to be opting for the Mutalisks, and he's going to probably be getting, hey, why not? Let's just get 40 Zerglings. And he's only getting 7 Banelings. This is any mark of a very good Zerg, is that you save the majority of your gas for these Mutalisks here, and all you actually do is just get like 6 or 7 Banelings, and you realize so really all you need to clean up all of these units. One of these Mutalisks will not go down, and now his Marines are a little bit out of position, and he's going to finally move in. He's going to surround the siege tank here. He should really surround the second siege tank here, and there you go. Perfect control by Stephano to pick it up, and look at this. Just enough Zerglings that he sent to actually barely surround the Marine, so he did not, I mean, not the Marine, but the siege tanks, but now he should really be sending his Zerglings up to pick off any sort of reinforcements, because you know that there are going to be reinforcing units, and both of these Marines will, in fact, die. Actually, smartly trying to pick off a Mutalisk will actually pick off 2, so very good control by inhu, regardless of the fact that that was not a good time for him to engage, and now Stephano decides that it's time to press his engagement, and I really do not know what inhu can do. He has a couple of Marines, but I do not think that these Marines will actually be able to hold anything off, and I think this may be a GG situation for inhu, because he really is going to be losing a lot of workers. If we go to the workers killed tab, you can actually see 4 workers killed, so he did have pretty good control on that, and we have to get rid of this tab, because that tab is quite annoying. And in the base of Stephano, we see him make 20 more drones, and this is where Zerg's macro just gets crazy out of control. It's not even fair. I mean, it's ridiculously hard. If you go to the unit count station, you can see 68 drones to 53 SCVs. It's kind of insane as to the amount of how fast this Zerg player is getting a little bit out of control with his economy. And if you go to the income tab, you can see, actually it's pretty even, but that is because of mules. But pretty soon, the Terran player is going to starve to death in the sense that he will have absolutely no minerals. And you can see 32 more Zerglings being built. And now, if we go to that queen again, actually he is a little bit behind on his inject, but we are at 13 minutes in the game with some crazy micro from Stephano, so it is not unheard of for him to get a little bit behind on his injects. Come on, Stephano, inject, use the queen. Come on, Stephano. Oh, Stephano. And a little known fact, if you do actually set up your hotkeys like this, like how he has them set up, I think you can actually inject from the minimap if you just hit 3-3, because that is what all his queens are set on. Oh, whoops, we actually did go to observer, who was apparently watching the Terran player. But if you hit 3-3, you can actually just hit V and inject from the minimap and find the giant blobs that look like hatcheries. And I mean, I guess that's pretty efficient, but I don't know. I prefer to do it a little bit differently, but that does not matter because I am obviously not a pro, and that is why I just use the setup that Itra uses. He's actually going to probably deter this orbital command for a little bit, but I think that and look at this, very smart. He only stems up a couple of Marines, but all the Zerglings are going to be rushing in. These Marines are going to be caught horribly out of position. A lot of SCVs being pulled off the line, not actually being pulled off the line, pulled off the line to go to a different line, but now we have more and more Zerglings pushing in. The Mutalisks are going to try to push up, but there's really nothing that he can do. The Zerglings are going to finally push in. They're going to catch these Marines off position. The Marines are stimming themselves to death, so I really don't know who's going to win this battle. It actually looks like Stephano will win it quite decisively, and this is what I was saying in an earlier game. It is awesome to be a siege tank. This guy just sits back and bombs his own units, and the Marines have to take it because, you know what, they are Marines. They joined the Marines. They did not join the siege tank division. If I was in the Terran army, I would definitely join this because why would you not want, look at this, 90mm cannons. I mean, these guys have what, like C-14 guns? Are like, well, I got a 90mm cannon, dude. Like, really, what can you do against that? Apparently not much. He's actually going to lose his command center, so nice clip by Stephano. But now InhuH is finally deciding to push out, and this might be a little bit of trouble for the Zerg player to deal with. You can see he's massing up a lot of Zerglings, getting a lot of Banelings with a perfect scan, so InhuH can kind of see his own demise. He should really siege up these siege tanks right about here and really be careful with his Marines. He's going to siege up these siege tanks, but it might be a little bit late. Actually, no, he's going to be picking up a lot of Banelings that are still morphing in, but he really needs to be careful. He really needs to pull back, and is he going to actually lose all of his Marines? No, he will not. Very good, smart play by the Zerg player to 1A, like every single other Zerg player that does. And really, I mean, people say, you know, Zerg is not hard to play, but I think Zerg is extremely hard to play. But that is not to take anything away from the Terran, because Terran is one of the most micro-heavy players or races in the entire game. And Protoss, I mean, there are no easy feat either. All the races are extremely balanced, but I mean, really with Zerg, when you do attack, that is not Zerg strong, so you just have to hit 1A and then just kind of micro your Banelings around and split your Zerglings onto siege tanks. This has been a Big Bear StarCraft 2 production, hoping that you guys enjoyed this game. I mean, I'm honestly trying to find games where Zerg does not win. I feel like Zerg has just been winning a lot, or either that or people or the StarCraft 2 replay uploaders have been feeling sorry for Zerg players, so they just upload only wins, so Zerg looks that much more awesome. And this is me, Big Bear StarCraft 2, saying I hope you guys enjoyed this, and have a pleasant today, and an even better tomorrow. I know I will, and I am signing out.